Says we gotta go.
Please.
And just so you're aware, Dave Mark is joining us via Zoom this morning.
Okay. All right, everyone, it is 10 o'clock, November 10th, 2025. We'll call this Legislative Judicial Ethics Court Safety and Security Committee to order. And Christie has the meeting been properly posted.
Yes, it has.
Okay. We've got a quorum.
We do have a quorum, yes.
Yes, and Mr. Morrock is listening in, I guess.
Yes.
Okay. First order of business is review and approve the agenda. Everybody has a copy of that, I believe.
Yep. Will moves to approve the agenda.
There's a second.
Jansky seconds.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, agenda is approved. Likewise, on the minutes of our previous meeting, October 13, 2025.
Jansky moves to approve the minutes from the October 25 meeting.
Approved by Mr. Jansky, second by Mr. Wangelski. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That's approved. Next point, I don't believe there's any public comment here. So we'll move on to resolutions. Number 23, 2025-26. Amend the Waupaca County Code of Ordinance number 25 of the General Code of Ordinances comprehensive map. This sounds like something from Mr.
Yep, it's got the hallmarks of planning and
What's his
zoning.
name?
Yeah.
Mr. Ryan.
So this is a fairly straightforward one here. So they are currently forestry. Yep. And so what they're looking at doing is they're looking to go from forestry to agriculture. You'll see that it's actually agriculture all the way around it. But it also makes sense as to why this is forestry, given how heavily forested it is. And so it all kind of makes sense as to why it is what it is. What they're looking at doing is to change this from forestry to agriculture. And so the reason for this is that they need more development rights. What they want to do is they want to be able to split the property and build a second home on it. And in order for us to be able to do that, we need to get into a district that allows them some additional development rights, which means going from the PVRF district, which is the forestry district, to agricultural district. And I believe they're going to AWT to be able to create more development rights, split it, build a new house. It's already gone through the town process and actually gone through the planning and zoning as well. So, any questions?
I'll make motion that we accept the resolution number 23 for 2026 for the amendment of the ordinance for the comprehensive plan.
I'll second it. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It looks like it's gonna do.
No.
Okay, we're good. Motion passed. Resolution. Number 23. 23 is approved. Okay, reports. security courtroom and courthouse security. Follow up from October 22nd, special public property meeting.
So that was, the special meeting, which was held on October 22nd. There was some discussion about, possibly removing the, security officers from the courtroom. And then it was proposed by public property to have security at the front door. After that meeting, discussion was, had with Diane and I believe Scott Prochowski, you, chimed in as well, that would need to come back to this committee because it is referring to the courtroom security. So, I put it on there so you guys had a chance to discuss it as well.
So,
I would think it makes sense. You know, entry door. And once the hearing or trial is called to order, I would think then he should move into the courtroom.
Which door are you talking? Of the main entrance into the building or outside the courtroom?
Well, outside the courtroom.
You don't-
yeah, were you at the meeting?
I was not.
Only Judge Huber.
Judge Huber was there and
Judge Huber.
there wasn't maybe, I'm not gonna speak for him, I don't know that he gave a definite answer that he would be 100% on board with not having security in the courtroom because there is still the Supreme Court ruling, I believe was the comment that he made. There was also discussion about as far as branch one being down in the basement that you would need security to continue down there. That's kind of the gist of it.
Yeah, I think my gist was, it's like, well, maybe we should make sure our committee sees it, because technically we're in charge. I mean, I think everybody there thought what was said was all right, but I just wanted to make sure everybody here was aware, and I thought, proper procedure, I didn't think any changes need to be made. Can't really verbalize what was said again. I was there, but so I guess if we don't have the minutes of that, I'm not exactly sure to refresh my memory what was discussed.
Judge Huber brought it forward on behalf of the judges, and Judge Nielsen is here as well, and he can speak for himself. But I think the judges prompted a bailiff in each courtroom to prod, for lack of a better word, for get a decision by the county board of supervisors that something needed to be done in the courthouse for security, and that the position, if the county board would entertain security for all coming into the courtroom, our public and our employees at the front door, then they would relinquish their request or revise their request for in courtroom court deputies.
Yeah, so
And there's the bridge time, as Supervisor Will said, because there's gonna be time until the remodel is completed, that Judge Nielsen will be on the lower level. He's right now in the temporary courtroom. In phase 2, that will be where the county board, portion of the county board.
yeah, I think while we're in the remodeling sort of phase of the building, anytime that lower level courtroom is in session, whether I'm using it or Judge Huber, Judge Cussman is, if I'm upstairs doing a jury trial, for example, there has to be an officer. And that was sort of my recollection, was the understanding, the agreement we all had reached back some time ago, and it was a little bit more of a spirited conversation as to who was going down there, but that temporary courtroom is quite unsafe. There just is no security measure in there, so that's that's a different sort of idea I have in my mind, and I think that went through resolution. That thought kind of separate and distinct from the. Okay, thank you. So as I think of pre-construction, or once we get out of the construction, we're all sort of back into our places. I mean, historically, again, it's been my understanding that if there was a single point entry secured by, armed officer or officers, with some sort of metal detector type system, that would be, it's not ideal, right? I mean, but ideal is, I mean, we're reasonable and rational and trying to be reasonable and rational here to recognize that, you know, if that were the situation, then there may be some coming off of the in-court room demands. But what I can tell you guys, if that's where the county's gonna go, I can tell you there's gonna be probably a hotly debated topic as to whom, if anyone, is exempted from that single point entry. And I'll tell you guys right now, my position is that exemptions should be quite limited, and not all that pervasive. And this is coming from somebody who has been threatened by an employee of the district attorney's office, right? I guarantee you guys that person would have been exempted from that single point entry because he is a lawyer, he's an assistant district attorney, and he would have been exempted. Yet he's the very person who threatened me. So I'm not gonna have, you know, a high threshold for exemptions, and I know that that's gonna be a difficult conversation to have. But I'm gonna tell you, you're not gonna hear a whole lot of wiggle room from me. Not that I'm the decision maker on this by any sense, I'm not. But, you know, if the exemption starts swallowing the rule, then what's the point? So, I mean, that would be sort of the next question or the next
Yeah,
part of that
we're
process.
kind of
And
we're
I
not
think,
blurring the line, but we're sit here, we're charged with courtroom.
Yep.
And yet public property is charged with courthouse, and it kind of,
Yeah.
there's a line that crosses there pretty easily. I mean, it's all the same thing.
sure, no,
Correct.
that's why Christie
So I didn't
suggested,
wanna complicate what we have to do here, but I just wanted to make aware of, talk about that. You know, and if we, you know, came with the,
and to Judge's point, the conversation all along among the planning folks and the design folks is that single point of entry is going to be the rule, and the exceptions are the judiciary and law enforcement, period. Right? So, you know, training our employee, you know, I don't like it. I walk in now the main door, it used to be the
Yeah.
back door. So, I mean, it's gonna change my pattern, but I certainly can salute the request and was aware, obviously, of Judge Newsom's the threats that he and his family endured, which is tragic and traumatic. But I think it's sort of, as we have this conversation, I think that is the understanding of many of the employees who are really advocating for the security position in the front, to say, we want our judges protected, but everybody in the building deserves the same level of protections. Well, you know, to the level that we can afford.
I read it, Allegheny County Court. One bailiff. I don't recall how he walked around. Or how he said that he was in a full uniform. And you do, 2 or 3 deputies there. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, but Allegheny County is different too, because they have 2 armed officers at the front door running metal detector. I'm there about once a month, so, but I have no idea what they do inside the building other than that. But, you know, the idea that maybe you see one person walking around, I think to say that that's all they're doing, it's just not, because, and I, as a judge, when I go over there to handle Allegheny County cases, I've tried to get an exemption.
Yeah.
And they say, no,
Okay.
through the front door. And I do, and now I go there enough where the officers know me, so, you know, so it's fine, but, I mean, I don't get no special privileges when I go to Allegheny. When I've gone to Marinette and Door, I get no special privileges there, I go through the front
What
door.
do you mean? I mean, they check you?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's fine.
Well, that should be the rule. guess.
Yeah, I mean,
don't care,
and
yeah.
of course, I leave as much as I can in the car to make the process
Yeah,
go
but I know
as
that-
quick as I can, but, which is fine, if there's no exemptions,
it's a rule, it's a rule.
just the rule, it's fine,
It
but,
fail safes everybody that way. I mean,
Yeah.
it's-
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as far as the courtroom stuff, I guess, you know, we had that set sort of already, they requested people, but it sounds like if there's a little flux between going and back and forth now with the entry to the courthouse and the courtroom, I was a little unsure of that property meeting, what exactly was going to go forward for sure, but I know you guys have requested in courtroom security, so I think that's in place. So,
So there are 3 court security positions that are funded in the 2020.
right.
budget.
Yeah.
So they're That's what's been funded. There's been no other infrastructure funded in terms of capital projects. There's only been 3 courtroom security. So now the awareness piece is, okay, this committee in charge of courtroom security is aware, it sounds like, in support of the conversation moving from the courtrooms, with the exception of, you know, in-person deputy with branch 1 during the remodel. Then what are we planning for front door security after the remodel is done, or
Right.
as it becomes more, as we can use the front door, et cetera.
That's the way I took it from that meeting. They were kind of trying to get the judge's take on it, and it was kind of just like informational. I was sitting here, I thought something was gonna happen, but it was kind of like oh, okay, you just kind of discuss things and, you know, there was no specific action taken by the property committee. I
Well,
remember.
I think the action is the judge is rescinding the request.
Yeah.
Right, so that's, you know,
So
that's,
it's
so
kind of-
this is just
sounds like
the,
they gave you flexibility or something.
right, the conversation to say they are willing, based on, depending on what the
Yeah,
county board
exactly.
funds in terms of security going forward,
Yeah.
they may be willing to be more collaborative and releasing the courtroom assigned deputies to the courthouse. If I summarize that?
Yeah, no, that's,
I think that sounds about
nailed it
right
on
from
the
what I
head.
heard. It's kind of like an in the future thing, but it's gonna be, obviously, it's coming quicker than not, because this project is moving along into another year now, so it will be quickly implemented something, you know, as in the next 2 years.
Okay, this has been screwed up since the goddamn beginning. We've had a viable way of taking care of security for the courthouse presented by our sheriff. He gave a good budget. This is back in January. We have not been communicating. I don't care what anyone says here. This is hearsay from what I'm hearing, because I wasn't at the special property meeting. We're being asked to comment on this thing. Someone from whoever at that public property committee should come here and present this to us and on that.
Yeah, more details.
I need to know what the heck they're asking for. I'm here representing His Honor. You know, and the public property is here representing the building. And I am only listening to and want to hear what His Honor wishes and the other judges' wishes and feel they need to have for security. And that's my job to support you and push those issues for that. Public property, if they have messed this up, and I understand it's being recorded, we have not been given any information as a general county board thing. Yeah, I could take my time and I could sit at those meetings, I could watch those meetings on Zoom, but I think there's an obligation that they have when they're doing these sorts of things to come and make us aware of every single month as to what the heck they're doing for some of these things. And here I'm sitting, I got this here, and the only person I care about right now in this room happens to be His Honor, because it's his courtroom, his safety, his responsibility. And whatever he says, what you feel comfortable with, that's what I care about. But what makes me very upset is the fact that security is talking, and public property is talking about this whole project. This is in November. We started this in January already, and we're not getting general information. And I don't know what the heck they were thinking of or what they really would like to have. I only want to hear what His Honor says and tells me what you want us to do for your courtroom. And if you want, you know, the people every day when you're in session, that's what I would support on that. And it's my own problem as a supervisor not finding out what the heck they're doing with the whole building project. But it comes down that it's what you would like to have, Your Honor, for security. If you're comfortable with having just the front area, if you want certain parameters as to who and cannot be through the front single portal type entrance, that's all we need to hear, and that's all that I personally am going to support for you on that. So my question here is, what other than hearing some, we're not quite sure what the heck was really determined or decided upon, what are we supposed to do today? I mean, what are we expected to do today?
I thought we
Comment on
would
that.
get more.
On, public property meeting.
Well, I think His Honor just tells us what he feels he
Yeah.
needs, and, we're either supportive or non-supportive. I personally am supportive with whatever the
Has there
judges.
been any decision yet? What about the property say?
Well, they,
Yeah, fine.
Public property just had basically the same discussion you guys are having. It was more informational discussion
Yeah.
to see where everybody was, like kind of piggybacking off what you said, Kevin, to have a discussion to see what do you support. So my recommendation probably would be, if it's gonna move forward, to do a joint meeting between the two. But not necessarily my decision to make.
Well, has there been any decision at all yet? To say, hey, we're gonna have this.
The decision, the proposed funding for court security, as I said previously, are the 3 court security positions that are in the 2026 budget, which we'll talk if it gets approved or not on Wednesday.
But the financing part is approved.
The 3 positions are approved. So the where they're assigned,
yeah.
what their duties are, is right now up to the sheriff, right?
So
And
the money's there, now we gotta decide where we're gonna put them.
so the sheriff, and I don't wanna speak for the sheriff, is responding to the judge's request to have 1 deputy per courtroom when court's in session.
That's exactly our demand. But, and this may be a more, absolutely a question, but there's no funding that you're aware of for, a metal detector type system.
That's correct.
Right, no capital.
Not yet, no.
Or additional
What did you
positions.
say, Judge Gilson?
I just asked, and I kind of knew the answer to this, but I wanted to make sure I was right, is that in the current proposed budget of the sheriff, there isn't funding for a metal detector type system, program, whatever you want to call it, for use, for example, at a front door.
And there's no
There's
funding,
no money for that, no.
Not yet.
there's no funding in the
Why
remodel
the hell wouldn't
project.
there be any for that?
But I think what Christie suggests probably is our
Right.
best bet at this point, because I'm just craving some information. I want to hear
Me too.
from all parties as to what would be the best on this and what we should do with it, including our sheriff's department. Because obviously he'll be providing the bodies. And as Diane points out, we've given funding for 3 positions, but we're trying to determine how best to utilize that. And the judges have been very patient and very open to looking at other options, but still understanding security is required and needed all the way around. And I think it's a wonderful idea, Christie, that you gave, and that would be my recommendation, is that we proceed with having I hate having meetings, but to put something together with the 2 committees and obviously the sheriff and representative of the judges to actually hash out finally what the heck we're going to do for security to ensure that citizens, employees are all safe coming to our new building remodel here. So how do we go about that, Christie? Do we simply
First
Had
thing,
you the-
request the meeting of property to us.
If you guys are available to, well, actually, I would say it'd probably be easier to have after your next scheduled meeting. I don't know if that's gonna be too late for you to move it to the December meeting, and then following, or even before the December meeting, have that joint meeting.
Well, when is property meeting this Friday?
It's this Friday. I don't know if that might be a little too soon to call well, unless you guys are available to come, we could call a special joint meeting following public property this Friday.
And the people you want to be there, I would not set a meeting until you know that sheriff and chief deputy are available and some of his management team
Yeah.
and at least one of the judges. So to schedule, and I know Judge Huber is at Judicial College.
Judge Huber's at Judicial Education, at least the last half of this week. I've got a jury trial set for this Thursday and Friday. And if it doesn't happen or I get done on Thursday, my wife made commitments for me on Friday.
Everyway,
And she takes priority over all of you guys.
So the December Public Property Committee would be December 12th. And the December committee for the LJUS team here would be December 15th.
Do one of those two?
Are you guys the first Monday or
No,
second?
second
For
Monday.
the second
The
Monday.
first,
Oh, yes, it's December 8th, I'm sorry.
See,
I
we
forgot
got,
the first was on Monday.
the meetings together. December, we'll have that, 8:30 meeting. Yeah, what time?
Yeah, December 8th would be LGS, so I'm thinking probably we wanna coordinate with the judges and sheriff to make sure that they're available to attend and then decide which day.
We got that early meeting, for,
Your emergency management,
yeah,
LEDC.
Oh.
that's,
8:30.
even numbered months. So we have at 8:30 and then we have, I'll just attend.
10. So are we thinking of asking for a special date, a day, or are we gonna try to piggyback it onto another meeting?
Make more sense to have it after one of the two meetings, so.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And to Kevin's point, I wanna make a statement, when I saw all this and went to public property that time, and they really didn't, they just discussed things. I'm trying to make sure, and it's a fault of this county, sometimes they're structured, that one hand doesn't know what the other one's doing, and this is a
That's what we
situation,
got right
this is
now.
a situation where security crosses between two committees, and it's in the same building, and it's kind of, so we need to, you know, and that's been a bugaboo of mine for a while, sometimes we don't know what the other one, and they say, oh, we should have been told about this, and that's why I brought it up to Christie, and it's like, maybe we should get in on it, because it's courthouse, courtroom, well, they'll think it's one and the same, well, no, it's not by law or by our standard, so I just wanted to have a, as they say, some, you know, collaboration, so we at least know what's going on.
so public
And-
property is meeting,
They're always on
December.
Friday.
It's Friday the 12th,
well, yeah,
Maybe make them come on the 8th.
9 o'clock.
I was on property for,
So I think,
Sure.
Judge, would it be
And
okay
you're-
then if I can coordinate with you later to see which dates are available? Which one would be better?
let me look at, I might be able to answer right now.
Okay.
Maybe, let me look at something. I could probably tight at the 12th, it's gonna be better if we do it. I've got a committee meeting that I'm a part of from a statewide committee on artificial intelligence, that starts at 12:15.
What
That
time?
day, so I mean, if we're gonna do it right after public property, so probably start around 10-ish or something.
Yeah.
The Monday, the 8th is gonna be bad, I think I'm on intake, so I know that's gonna be a bad day.
Mondays are bad.
Kevin can go for a long time, but it's like, it's nice to know what everybody's thinking.
Yeah.
on this. And then, or maybe it's not set in stone by any, except the three positions, but if they got an idea and we got an idea and the sheriff has an idea, at least we all are gonna know about it. I mean, otherwise we're secure, our justice is left in the dark.
Also, that being a Friday, Chrissy, that there's less intake responsibilities from that day, so it'll be easier for me to manage my availability around that morning.
Okay.
If that, if.
So whatever. Yep, I'll list it as, public property at 9, and then the joint meeting, immediately followed, but not before 10.
That would be good for me if that's,
Yeah.
if it's not good for anybody else, then I
And
can,
especially the,
Rethink
the sheriff,
my
or anybody, can be included too, because we can have another discussion, is what it'll be, but at least you'll have some forward thinking, maybe that's what's gonna happen when the funding gets, or something happens. Basically, we know what's gonna happen in the courtrooms, but it's the flux they discussed at public property about entry point courtroom, and that, Huber felt like they were agreeable maybe to flexibility is all I can say.
yeah,
That may just be flexibility, it's like, no, everything's in the courtroom, or maybe back and forth, and the sheriff will have to be involved, so I guess I was trying to do my due diligence here about getting us involved, and
Yeah, well, discussion has to happen before action can
I
take
know,
place,
and
so.
it's
First
sometimes
step is
how it
done.
acts that, committees are, and one committee doesn't know, and then it gets somewhere, and we say, when did that happen? It's like,
So we're looking at the 12th,
12th, yep, public property will be
Friday.
9 AM, and then we'll have the joint meeting of the legislative, judicial ethics, court safety and security, joint with public property immediately following, but not before 10 AM.
You'll talk to the sheriff from,
Yep, I can send out an invite to all the
See you at
judges
12.
and the sheriff as well.
Yeah, that'd be excellent, then we could all
December
hear it at
12th.
once.
10 o'clock. We'll see him tomorrow anyways, the sheriff, because of
Yeah, no, it's Wednesday. Oh, no,
no, my.
Oh, you
law
have your
enforcement.
committee tomorrow? Yeah.
Yeah, sheriff, law enforcement tomorrow.
Then you
Veterans
can-
Day,
you can kind of clue them in what we're trying to do.
12th,
Oh,
December.
Okay.
December 12th.
time,
10 o'clock.
10 o'clock,
For,
If you wanna come for public property at 9, and then it'll be
right,
after that,
so,
Yep.
no sooner than 10.
no sooner than 10.
If
You
you
got
want
it.
those deals, that says no sooner than 10 o'clock. And that sounds like good.
or should we,
Yeah, I'll be here,
Okay.
or wherever it
or
is.
should we say no later? You know, to make sure we get it done at 10.
Well, it's, they have to do their
Yeah.
first.
it's best for us to come before public property ends, because
Let
then
me
we
keep
will
their
all
meeting short.
We
Yeah,
usually
it would
run
be
about
nice.
45 minutes or so with the committee meetings.
Yeah.
make sure they know, make sure public property knows what we're after.
Okay.
If they got a input on their end from the courthouse, we have an input on our end from the courtroom, and we can, we'll meet in the middle, I'm sure it'll be satisfactory, but it's just a matter of finding out what one hand is doing, the other hand will know.
Let us know what you want, John,
All right, sounds good.
what you need.
Yeah, pull your.
Thank you, guys. We
pull your
appreciate it.
judges, and if there's any more discussion, yeah, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
At a minimum, I'll be here.
Okay.
All right, thank you. They gotta run back to the house.
Yeah, what?
Thanks for
Some
coming.
divorce folks. What's that?
That's what? She's on your knees.
Walk to the courthouse, don't run, it's easier.
I'm gonna try.
Oh, okay.
Okay, next up is Diane. What?
Good discussion.
Well.
Get my blood pressure lowered.
Good morning. For the Corp Counsel Office for Civil Actions, the zoning updates, the big reveal is that the Iola Car Show non-metallic mine CUP was granted by our judge, Wasnicki and Marinette
Really?
County. Yeah, so it was granted about 10 days ago, so they have 20 days, the neighbors have 20 days to petition for review in the Court of Appeals.
Can I ask a question about that? How many times when judges rule, can you start appealing, or can you appeal every judge's order?
So you can appeal
Forever.
final orders or
Oh, okay.
what's called interlocutory orders. So this one went to planning and zoning, and then
Yeah.
went to the Board of Adjustment, then went to the circuit court. Then if it's appealed, it'll go to the Court of Appeals. The losing person of the Court of Appeals can petition for review by the Wisconsin Supreme Court, and then it's up to the Supreme Court to accept it or not.
Okay, so that's fine.
And
The finality. to it.
Well, then if it's accepted and the Supreme Court rules and enters an order that the adverse party disagrees with, then they can petition for review to the United States Supreme Court. And then the US Supreme Court can accept it or grant the petition or deny it. And if it grants it, then it's in the Supreme Court, and that's the end.
Now, when all this happens and appeals on us, is there an expense to our county here somehow, with all this going on? If everybody continues on?
So the board during so I represented the Planning and Zoning
Yeah.
Committee at the committee level. When it went to the Board of Appeals, Board of Adjustment, excuse me, then we had Attorney Don Kluckow from Stadler and Stacks represent the committee. And we
Okay.
had Hop Newman from Sheboygan represent the Board of Adjustment. So, and we have outside counsel for Board of Adjustment representation because it's a conflict for me to represent them because they are separate and distinct from the county. So that's an outside counsel expense we know we're gonna have happen every year because of the built-in conflict. So, Kelly DuPont and Crystal Fieber from Hop Newman did all the briefing in the circuit court on behalf of the Board of Appeals. They represented the Board of Appeals, Board of Adjustment, Board of Adjustment in the actual hearing, and then represented the Board of Adjustment in the case, which was writing. So there wasn't any oral arguments or testimony in the trial court. So then if it goes to if there's an appeal, then they'll continue to represent the
So
Board
we'll
of
have some
Adjustment.
expense somehow in it.
Yeah, I
if
think
it keeps appealing. But
all told, I
not
can get you the
catastrophic.
number. I think it was maybe like $8,000.
Okay, well, I'm just curious.
Yeah.
It-
Maybe a little bit.
We have to, it's really not it's not our not problem, but it's not our issue of, like, the county. We've done our due diligence in granting this and that.
Yep.
That we're actually having to pay money because these other people want to keep appealing. So
People can sue us for good, bad, or no reason, and
yeah,
and the decision by the judge on granting the CUP was very strong.
okay.
So it was very strong.
Well,
So
hopefully then we can.
we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see what they
Good,
do.
thank you for the
They're
information. I always was wondering about this because as it goes on, we're
Yeah, they're
racking up
aggrieved,
more.
so they have the right to appeal.
Okay.
So busy month for us in mental commitments and in guardianship cases. We're up to 31 guardianship petitions for the year, 13 successor guardianship petitions. We had 2 Watts reviews last year, totaling we're up to 43. And then we had 2 contested due process cases. Are people good? I think I said this last month too. We've had some medical crisis individuals who've recovered, and we've been able to dismiss their guardianship cases. So when that happens, this is sort of another unintended consequence of a cost that then gets scooped up by the county. Is the county petitions because the person is in a medical facility. The medical treatment team needs a decision maker from medical. We do the evaluations, or we have one of their evaluators do the evaluations. We file the petition, we get a guardian ad litem, we have sometimes a temporary order, sometimes temporary not, but the law says if you don't proceed to final hearing and prevail and get a permanent guardianship, the costs of the guardian ad litem go to the petitioner. So those are costs that come back to us. And sometimes folks recover and they go to the Department of Human Services, and sometimes the folks recover and we need a new evaluation beyond their medical crisis to see what's really going on, because we want to get it right, to have the person's rights be as least restrictive as the time the guardianship order was entered. So Department of Human Services will do another evaluation, which then is a cost borne to the county, DHS. And those are about $800 to $1,000 per evaluation. So in the CHIPS cases, Angela had no new petitions or guardianships coming out of CHIPS cases last month. I'm doing a guardianship case shortly. She had 1 termination of parental rights granted. We have no that cleans up her termination of parental rights caseload. So no new petitions filed. Potentially 2 younger children are maybe headed towards cases where their parents' rights needs to be terminated. And then mental commitments is where we've been very active. Totaling 68 detentions for year to date for adults. And that was an increase of 15 since the last time we met. So that was a very active month. And then we had 2 youth detained. So it's a total of 16 youth detained. And the kids are getting younger and younger. It's not uncommon to see 10, 11, 12-year-old kids. So appellate cases, we've been quiet, so nothing new to report. JG or SG. We've been very active in our in-rem cases. So on October 27th, Mark and I went to court with the final list of in-rem cases. We started with a list of about 76 total parcels. In the end, we foreclosed on 3 parcels that had known owners, one of whom came to court. And then 4 parcels that we had identified without known owners. So we called those unknown owners. So all the deed work and the real estate transfers have been done with those 7 cases. So they are now owned by the county.
Okay.
And with your title free and clear liens. And then Mark will do public bidding on those 7 parcels. So there is one is a vacant property, which I think is in Manawa. That's filled with priceless, what is it? Rusty gold is the junk, rusty gold. So we're looking forward to having someone buy that and deal with the junk. And so is the city of Manawa. So,
Interesting.
Yep. And then in 2023, we did a foreclosure action, which was a big project of unknown owners. We had close to 50 parcels that we were dealing with. Yeah. And so Mark was able to sell most of them. Four left. Yeah. So 45 plus unknown owners. So this is what, as things happen like water receipts, right? And so then, when we started modernizing the mapping, like the GIS mapping has made things a little bit more finite and crisper. So little splits and remnants are caught up
I see.
where we can't identify an owner. So he put those out for public bid. So Claudia, my legal secretary, and I are starting to do all the real estate paperwork related to the quitclaim deeds, transferring ownership from Wapaka County to the successful bidder in the format that they want to hold the property. And then we have to do all the e-file returns, which is the same information electronically submitted to the Department of Revenue. So it's going to be a big project, and I promised Mark I'm going to get them filed by the end of the year, because then they'll be on the tax returns, not next year, but the following. Yep.
And it's
So
all probably just
still
2 acres. It's not a
yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
900 square feet, 600 square
30
feet.
feet high.
Yeah,
It's
the
not-
biggest one that I've seen of the 4 unknown owners that I did, the biggest one that I have seen is 1900 square feet of the ones that I did last time.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
I was
last
envisioning, geez, are these lots of houses, but they're
No.
just little chunks of,
Little
little
slivers.
slivers of
Yep,
chunks.
and Mark shared that all of the sales went to contiguous owners. Yeah, one of the owners. So, and some of them were bidding wars between 2 neighbors, and the highest bid, and they knew it. I mean, it was open.
Yeah.
So the highest bid won.
Well, it's
with
good that we
those.
got it cleaned up, and every piece of land in the county is
Yeah.
actually under someone's ownership.
Yeah, and I don't know how Donna Drashko, who's the property lister, finds unknown. It's just, coming across, different areas. But she spent a couple of years getting these 45, and then,
Crazy.
like I said, we took the judgment in 2023, and Mark got them sold this year. So questions about civil cases out of the Office of Corporation Counsel? Okay, so numbers report for child support. I think Christy can broadcast it up. I have 4 workers who are now assigned cases. So our 2 new people who came at the end of August, Makaya and Heather, are now assigned a caseload. You can see, MM is Makaya and Heather is HH. So Heather is concentrating on enforcement cases. So you'll see she has the vast majority of her cases are cases that already been established. And Makaya is concentrating on established and paternity. So you can see she has 157 and 68 cases respectively on established and paternity. So we split the caseload exactly in half. You want to guess what letter of the alphabet I did the split on? J and K. A through J.
Okay.
Yeah, and K through Z. And the K through Z is bigger than the A through J split. So when I go to even this out, it's probably going to be an M through Z, because there's a lot of M and N's, in the county. So so you can see our collections activity, total collections for the year, 551,000, almost 500 for the month. Excuse me, $552,000. Going into the next agenda item, which is our performance report with the Bureau of Child Support Corrective Action Plan. They're looking at that, our percentages here. So October 1 restarted the fiscal year. So we are already 8% over 80% for paternity, but they still want us to do a corrective action plan. So we are doing the math quickly, 0.29% under established. And we are above the state average for current support, 78.3 versus 73.6. So we're still engaging with the Bureau of Child Support in the corrective action plan. Part of the plan, I guess I'm pleased with the reports that we've accomplished here. I am displeased with the fact that Crystal, who I had hired October 6th, took a different job. So so she left the last week of October. What happened was she was a teacher. I think I explained that. And Dana called her references, and one of her references was a former principal who she hadn't talked to in a couple of years, and said, "Oh, Crystal is wonderful. I know exactly the job for her. I'm going to connect her up with my friend who is a principal in another location, and I'm going to connect her up." And it was a match. So she told me on Monday, and I said, "Well, it doesn't make any more sense training you. So come in tomorrow and sign all of your systems deactivation." And so I'll be recruiting again. With the advent of Workday and with the holidays coming up, I talked with both Dana and HR. Mandy initially indicated no new hires through 2025 because it's just too complicated with Workday coming live and then the end of the year work that HR needs to do. And with my staff just having another person come and then leave so quickly, I'm going to recruit now with a start date of January 12th. And so that's the first workday of the full pay period in 2026. So that's what we're going to be doing as part of the plan that I'm working with the Bureau of Child Support is I have a specialized team of collections people right now. That's Heather and Deborah, a specialized team for paternity and established cases. So that's Bria and Micaiah, and then Bria and Deborah are experienced people are splitting the financial responsibilities, but I'm going to recruit for a financial dedicated position so we can have that person come in and get our court orders on, make any adjustments if there's backdating or if there's money that's sitting in the trust fund that's not getting distributed correctly, making sure that the money flows quickly and correctly. So the recruitment should be started soon with that job. So I just, stinking bad luck. So,
Did you just get everything in?
yes, and she was
kind of used to that a little bit, and sometimes it's just the way the flow of those departments go.
Yeah, and she was a lovely addition to our team. I think I have hope in the personalities that we have meshed. Crystal really meshed right in, and so I'm trying to be positive.
Yep.
The other thing that we have to do as part of the plan is to get caught up in a backlog of cases. We started maybe when I had conversations with the state, there were about 90 cases that were backlogged. Now we're down to 30. So just as continuing to move those, the plan they're thinking is probably something 6 months, but we're not going to be released from the plan until we have that financial person coming. Yeah. So, and we had the state of Wisconsin's training team came here yesterday upon my request as part of the plan to do new worker training and some other trainings that were required by the state. So we used the highway shop for 3 days in their committee room. So, and the training was really nice.
Do you think it was worthwhile?
I think it was Heather learned the most because she was the newest. Yeah. And Micaiah was clipping right along. So it was a barometer of how much she's learned, in 8 weeks. So, there's a lot to learn for sure. Yeah. So that's what I have in the child support world. Do you have any questions for me on that?
Sounds like you're busy as always.
Busy as always. Busy as always. Yep. I tried to leave by 4 o'clock on Friday and I sent my last email at 4:03. I almost made it.
Something.
Working on the animal plan. So, thank you.
Okay. Any supervisors attend any prevention seminars or? webinars. Keep going. Okay, next meeting is December 8th. Look for call for sure.
Adjourn.
Mr. Kevin, where's your?
Mr. Kevin.